Welcome back, children of the popcorn. It is I, Mr. Popcorn, and of course, I have my infamous host with me, my co-host there, Dorian. How are you?
Yes, I'm good.
Good, good. Yes, we're still on the iceberg. We are on tier two. We're traveling around Europe, killing people. We did it with
Mm.
Midsummer in Sweden. Now we're off to Amsterdam and
Well, it
other
starts in Amsterdam,
starts in Amsterdam.
goes elsewhere.
It goes elsewhere. Yes. For better or for worse, we are covering
Mm.
Eli Roth's Hostel from 2005. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't know, one of the major torture porn movies that came out in the 2000s. Yeah, by Lionsgate, the same people who put out and distributed Saw, of course, being the most famous one. It is backed by Quentin Tarantino. Yeah. Um, yeah, and it has a definite vibe to it. Eli Roth and Quentin Tarantino, they're like souls, definitely. I'm not necessarily dissing
Yeah.
either chap, but they are like
Mhm.
souls. It
Yeah.
is a horror thriller film written and directed by Eli Roth. So 2005 is when it initially came out. A year later it came here. It stars Jay Hernandez, Derek Richardson. I guess this is the Icelandic guy.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. That's Ollie. The king
and
of the swing.
King of the Swing, of course, horse.
Yeah, of
Christ,
course, my horse.
of course, my horse. That's right. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And there's someone else there, Barbara, with
Mm.
a European or Scandinavian name. As I said, backed by Quentin Tarantino, put out by Lionsgate. Yeah, it's his.
Yeah.
It's not his first film. It's his sophomore effort because
No.
Cabin Fever
Yes.
is his first film,
Yes.
of
Cabin
course. I
fever.
don't remember that film. Do you?
I liked it. I
You
liked
liked
it.
it? Okay.
Yeah. I didn't like the sequel. And there was an unnecessary remake not all that long after
Oh,
the
really?
original one
Okay.
even came out. And
Okay.
it's entirely unnecessary because it's almost identical, but like it's shit in comparison. I think that there was a third one as well.
Oof.
But honestly, like the first one's the only one worth watching. But if you want to complete the collection and have seen all of
Sure.
them, sure. But otherwise, just
Sure.
watch
Yeah,
the
yeah,
first
yeah.
one and call it a day.
Because Eli only directs the first one, yeah?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm
I've
not
never
sure.
really looked into it.
Mm.
Okay, so it says here countries, United States and Czech Republic. I'm guessing it was a
Mm.
lot of filming
Yeah,
went
it
on in
was
the Czech
shot. Yeah,
Republic.
it was
Yeah, yeah,
shot
yeah.
in
Okay.
Czech Republic. Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Budget of 4.8 million, so not a lot,
Mm.
not a big film in terms of budget. But it made a box office of 82 million,
Mm.
and it's made much more since then because it does
Yeah.
have a cult following. It must be said. This
Yeah,
film
it's
does
getting
have
a
a cult following.
yeah. They've relatively recently announced that it is getting a continuation in the form of a TV series, apparently. So,
Okay.
I mean, I'm down, but like,
Are
what?
you? Are
Okay.
you?
Yes,
Uh,
obviously.
yeah,
Give
I
me
don't know.
more like horror content to consume.
Yeah, but
Like we'll see
this.
how it goes.
All
But
right, all right. Let's get it on the table then.
yeah.
Um, what's your history with Hostel, and how do you feel about it
Oh,
as of today?
um, yeah, so Hostel was one of those ones that, yeah, I was a teenager when it came out.
Sure.
I didn't end up watching it until a decent chunk of time later. But I was,
Um,
like, well, I got to get around to watching these movies, and well, I guess it's time to watch Hostel. I don't know how I'm gonna fare. And then I'm like, oh, is that it? That's fine, no worries. So, um,
sure.
but I watched because there's three
Mm,
in the series. I watched them
mm.
all, and then I don't think I rewatched them. If I had, it would have just been like, yeah, I'm not entirely sure if I have rewatched them or not. So then rewatching Hostel
Mm.
now,
Okay.
at least like more than 10 years later, I'm like, okay, I've seen so much more fucked up stuff now in comparison.
Mm,
Like,
mm.
this has nothing on the shit that you see in Terrifier, as an
No,
example.
no,
Like,
it didn't.
so
No.
Hostel nowadays is nothing. But back when it came out, obviously it was like, oh my God, look at this thing that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
it's tame in
Yeah, it is.
comparison. There's some iconic moments, some a
Yeah.
delightful gross bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
like
absolutely.
overall, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, okay, okay. Um, yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. I did watch this film in the 2000s, close when
Mm,
it came
yeah.
out, DVD, I believe, if memory
Mm,
serves. And yeah, no, I enjoyed it when it came out, absolutely, because
mm,
I was
yeah.
into shock in a big
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Yeah, shock
Yeah.
entertainment in a
Yeah.
big way. Torture, porn ticked that box
Mm,
beautifully. I
yeah.
was glad that the spirit of Saw was continuing in
Yes.
these movies,
Yes.
absolutely was well into it. And then I watched, I've seen most of Eli Roth's films.
Yeah.
And then I watched the second one a wee while later, and I really liked it. I thought that was actually a
Yeah.
step up in terms of movie
I
making.
really
Yeah.
like the second one. Yeah.
Um, and okay, so I rewatched the second one recently, just
Mm,
of my own accord, and it was fine. It was still good.
mm.
I would take away the tag of really good. It has
Yeah,
gone
yeah.
down a little
Mm.
in
It's a lot
impact.
better than the first movie, though.
It's still way better than the first one.
It's
It's
the
still way
best
better
one
than
of
the
the
first one.
three. The
Um,
third one isn't even worth mentioning,
no,
honestly.
no. It's like the
It's not
third
even worth
wreck.
talking about.
It's like the
Yeah,
third
yeah.
wreck. Just forget about it. Don't worry
Oh,
about it.
yeah.
Forget it exists. Yeah.
There's
Um, hmm?
there's a fourth wreck as well. Yeah.
Okay. No, no, because I fucking love the first two. So yeah, and
Yes,
the third one
yeah.
was nah. Yeah. So fourth, no.
Mm, yeah.
Um, yeah, no, this movie has dropped for me.
Mm,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was painful because I watched it last
Mm,
night just
yeah.
casually, and then I go through,
Mm,
take notes, write out the plot on the second viewing, their children, and it was a lot to get through with the second day in a
yeah.
row, just watching
Mm,
it intently,
yeah.
whew.
It's a time capsule.
It's a time capsule is the perfect way to put it. It's of
Like,
its time and should stay
oh
in its
my
time.
God.
Um, because yeah, a lot of
Mid
the attitude
2000s. Oh.
I mean, there is the attitude things of the guys.
Mm,
Yes, that's obvious. But
mm,
then there's the fact that, I mean, like when a movie has subtext, especially a horror
mm,
movie, you can sink your
yeah.
teeth into it. There's no sinking teeth into it because there's
Yeah.
absolutely no subtext.
Yeah.
It's
It's
Eli Roth.
text.
Okay, we'll go into it before I start
Yeah,
breaking
yeah,
down
yeah.
my opinion of it. All right. What do you think of Eli Roth as a filmmaker? Like Rob
Um,
Zombie, he is
yeah. He
discussed
has
a
his
lot in
own,
discourse.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
has his own like certain way that he likes doing stuff that he, does. And so I don't necessarily like go, oh, there's a new Eli Roth movie, awesome. I'm absolutely going to check it out. It's more, I'm going to see what the general consensus is, what people are saying about it, and then I'll check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but like, let me see. Yeah, I've pretty much only seen like, Hostel, Cabin Fever, Green Inferno, and Thanksgiving that came out last year. They're the ones of
Okay.
his that I've seen.
Okay. Okay.
And
Where
then
the
also Knock Knock has been
filmography?
on my watch list for
Uh,
ever. I'll get
oh,
around to it eventually.
it's a real
Like I want to
poor
see,
man's.
yeah, exactly.
It's
Yeah,
a poor man's funny games, is what Knock Knock
yeah,
is.
yeah. But
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
like, let's just see Keanu Reeves get fucked up. Like, let's go.
Sure. 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 Yeah, I've seen Cabin Fever. I've seen all
Mm,
three Hostels. I
yeah.
have not seen the Grindhouse Thanksgiving trailer. Well, I have seen it, but I don't remember
Mm,
it because I saw that
yeah.
years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Aftershock, Man with the Iron Fist. No, he's right there. I'll stick with the directing. Green Inferno, fuck off.
Mm.
Like a pathetic homage to Cannibal Holocaust. Knock Knock, I just spoke about a Cabin Fever.
Yeah.
Death Wish, I haven't seen Death Wish.
Mm.
And I have not seen The House with a Clock in Its Walls. That's his kids' movie. Well, his YA, young
Yeah.
adult movie.
Yeah.
There's something called Finn, as in Fin here. Is that a
Mm.
shark
Mm.
movie?
I don't
Thanksgiving. I haven't seen it
know.
yet, but I will watch that
Mm.
because I did hear
Yeah.
majority good reports about that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Borderlands, yes, the game, the movie, he's
Mm.
directed it. It's
Yeah, that's
coming
right.
soon. It's
Yeah.
coming this year, actually,
Mm.
in post-production now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eli Roth, he definitely has a certain way of doing it. He has an
Yeah.
audience, and I think I'm with you. I will watch it if it has really good reports.
Yeah.
I liked him way more back in the 2000s than I do now. I'd rather watch a Rob
Yeah.
Zombie film nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, anyway, let's get into it because it's
Yes.
something to discuss, definitely. I don't have any extra anything to bring up.
Me neither.
Because people know about this film, and it's torture porn. It's Eli Roth. It was,
Yeah.
people know it. Yeah. And it was a bit of a struggle, to be honest. But it's on the iceberg, and we floated on it. All right. So Quentin Tarantino certainly presents. He lets us know at the start of the movie. Opens on cell cleaning scene. Yeah, he's cleaning all the let's say torture chambers. Yeah, chambers.
Yeah.
And he's whistling, and someone is whistling a happy tune.
Yeah. Whistle while you work.
Absolutely, absolutely. Cleanliness next to godliness.
Yes.
As godly people in this film. Written and directed by Eli Roth. Okay, then we meet our three douchebags. And mein Gott, they are douchebags. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just bringing up the cast here on IMDb. So we've got Paxton, who's played by Jay Hernandez, Josh, played by Derek Richardson, and Ethor Johnson. That's as close as I'm going to get. Is played by Ollie. Yeah, Oli. Okay, and I'll mention the others as they come up, but this is the first that we meet. This is our trio of backpackers, and they are classic backpackers. Yeah,
Yes.
yes, yeah, classic backpackers since back in the day, since Lonely Planet. And they're about to, study for the bar. One wants to be a lawyer, one's about to go do a thesis. So this is, their gap year, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Josh complains, hey, why are we coming to Amsterdam to just smoke pot? Let's check out a museum. Paxton says, yeah, we can go to a hemp museum, and they're in a coffee shop. Yeah, smoking up, and misogyny ensues. So there's going to be a lot of it in this movie. Yeah.
Yes.
First of all, they throw down a nearly unconsciously stoned girl on the couch. What about this one?
And then Paxton's like, what the fuck, dude? We can't rail a girl that's in a coma.
And she's just sitting there, just looking at them. What the hell? All right, and
these guys, all that they care about is getting wasted and getting as much pussy as they can. That's all that they care about. And it's very 2000s frat boy kind of thing in the way that they're talking. It's incredibly misogynistic. They're just calling everything gay as an insult. And I'm like, oh, that's right. That was a thing that people used to do.
Dorian, but even in this movie, though, the queer slur, the F-bomb.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Weird. Yeah. Like even those like myself who'd grown up when that word was thrown around casually, we had started to calm down in the 2000s.
Yeah.
This was a lot even for 2005.
Oh, no. It was. Yeah.
Nowadays, it's just like, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the language.
And
we're not going to say
Americans.
We're not going to say the F-bomb and any other languages from them. Sorry, Dorian, go ahead.
Yeah, these two Americans, they're very much your stereotypical American tourist.
Yeah.
They're obnoxious. They're entitled. Like, hey, you can't do that to me because I'm an American. Why aren't there any subtitles on this movie? I can't understand what they're saying.
Just having roommates in a hostel is gay.
Oh, yeah.
Again, their language.
Literally everything is gay. And it's like, believe it or not, that is a thing that people used to say back in the day.
Yeah,
use the word gay as an insult for literally everything.
Literally everything. Literally everything. It's just the way they're using it, but it's homophobic, a lot of it. Yeah. In this movie. So just to set you up, the characters that we are dealing with. All right. Okay. So I think Josh mentioned something at this stage is Amsterdam full of Americans. Yeah. So back in 2005, a lot of tourists, and certainly before then, I think they were even trying to calm down at tourists in coffee shops, like not allow them in or some sort of restriction, because the Dutch was so goddamn sick of tourists just going over, getting wasted, going to the red light district and causing a mess, basically. Yeah. So it's really looking at those type of characters. They do exist. They do exist. It is true. And Eli Roth has placed himself in the cafe as one of these douchebag essays. Yes. Did you spot him?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. Like they're smoking on a bomb.
He's
He
got a
splutters
very
out,
like, yeah,
bro.
yeah, yeah. If you know what Eli Roth looks like, it's pretty easy to spot him in like a
Yeah.
cameo role, unless he's heavily disguised.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad that's all there was of him in this movie
Yeah.
because I remember Inglorious Bastards where he tried to act in
Oh
front
yeah.
of camera.
Yeah.
Stay behind the camera. Okay, so that set the scene of the type of characters we are looking at. Okay, so then they're off to the disco after this, but they haven't met the girls. Yeah, that's right. Yep. Okay, Josh laughed at in club by some cute girls because of his fanny pack.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you've got a kind of power dynamic here. Ollie's the wild
Yeah.
card, and then
Yeah.
Paxton is the major, Josh is the minor, however you want to put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh goes to pick up two girls and spills drink on another girl and gets in fight with the girl with the drink spilled on her boyfriend, and all get kicked out of club and homophobic slurs galore. They end up in the red light district. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so if you're not aware, in Amsterdam, they actually dance in windows. Yes, and you make your choice from there. Ollie is going berserk. He's loving it. And he basically purchases one of the girls' services. Yes, one of the sex workers' services. Josh is not into paying for it, basically, or having someone pay for him. Paxton and Ollie are well into it, though, and we see that through a via of silhouettes down a hallway inside.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Without
Also,
going into
there's a
detail,
lot.
you get me.
There's a lot of boobs in this movie.
Oh, from the get.
There's a lot.
Yes. There's a lot of boobs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of boobs.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I'll say about Eli Roth now. He's playing up these character types in this culture, but he's also reveling in it at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. And then Josh bolts from having sex with the sex worker. Yeah. But he lies about it and says it was fine.
And he's like, oh yeah, it was fine.
But the best boobs, best tits in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Paxton.
Yeah. Because by the sounds of it, just from like conversations that Paxton and Josh were having, Josh has recently left, like had a relationship ended.
Yes,
and it's kind of like, hey, like how can you expect to get over her, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to let you go home from this trip in Europe without getting laid at least once, kind of thing. So
such depth of character.
Yeah.
3 locked out of the hostel because it is after curfew, which happens in Europe. Now they start yelling, let us in, where it is revealed to us that Paxton can speak German. Yeah. Okay. And it's Germany and Amsterdam, but a lot of that part of Europe can speak German because they learn 5 languages in school. And there's Swiss German, there's Swedish German, etc., etc. Yeah, so German works. Neighbors are angry from the yelling, so Ollie decides to sing. Happens a bit in this movie. Neighbors start to throw the bottle. They're invited to an upstairs party where a couple is high having sex on a bed.
Ollie's just sitting there, like so close to them, just watching, like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's Christmas, basically.
Yeah.
Now, Alex, Moly Moly Mole, shout out Horrorqueers. They made a reference to Austin Powers. I thought it was quite funny. This guy's a creep anyway, so it's fine. His name is Alex, and Alex is a pimp, apparently. And he tells them about Slovakia, near Bratislava, is where the best girls are, especially for Americans. That's kind of the gist of that conversation there. And the boys train off to Slovakia. They're inside a carriage, inside a train, long distance train. They discover that first of all, he draws a face on his butt while Josh sleeps. And then where was this chap from? Where was this wannabe surgeon from, Dorian?
He's Dutch.
He's Dutch. Okay, thank you. So the Dutch surgeon joins the carriage. We discover Ollie has a daughter. They're just having a general conversation at this point, getting to know each other.
Because Josh and Paxton, in their little backpacking adventures around places in Europe, they ended up meeting Ollie there. he
Yes.
decided to tag along. So they don't know Ollie outside of them going around backpacking in Europe.
That's that's good to know for future reference as well. Thank you. And Surgeon says that in Slovakia the girls are good and that you can pay to do anything. Yeah. Okay, so we're building up the vibe. And then we have Surgeon Salad Hands. The Dutch surgeon decides to eat salad with his fingers.
He's eating his salad with his fingers. And he's there going on like, oh, like I like to, get up close and personal with, this, with my food. I feel like we're, so far removed from, what we eat. I want to if something has, like actually like died for me, I want to actually get in with, get involved in it. Like that's
foreshadowing.
Yes.
And Paxton's a vegetarian. Good on you.
Yeah.
That makes you a good person. I'm not dissing vegetarianism, I'm dissing Paxton. Yeah. All right. Boys arrive at spooky Eastern Bloc train station. Yeah. When they first arrived, it's war-torn Eastern Europe, but then they drive through a tunnel into a communist wonderland. There's this lovely little Sylvanian village in Eastern Europe. Yeah. And they did find that village. That village does exist. It's not a movie set. Yeah. Okay, boys arrive at the picture postcard village. The hostel is alt und schön, old and beautiful. Yeah, and it is a beautiful looking hostel. It's a type of place I would like to say, definitely. All right, now once they enter the foyer, the boys are flirted at by cute Asian girls, 2 of them, and then they run off. Yeah, keep them in mind though. And then if we have Ollie, of course, my horse. I am the king of swing. He is booked under those monikers. Goofy motherfucker. Receptionist tells the boys they will have roommates. That's gay. Until
like, oh, that's gay.
They lay eyes on Natalia and Svetlana. Yeah. And they're beautiful European girls. Yes, you can imagine the type that Eli Roth has casted for this. And boobs. We see boobs. Okay, we go into, and they're off to the spa. Yes, we cut to the spa. Boobs. Yeah. European spa. Boys meet up with the roommates. Okay. They get to know each other very awkwardly. Now, Natalia is from Russia and Svetlana is from Prague. Ollie starts singing and Natalia joins in because he discovers that she's from Russia, some sort of folk song. I don't know, because it's disco time. And the whole hostel's at the disco. Okay. Now, if there's anything I've missed out, because I've just made notes, just shout out there, Dorian. Josh is bothered by Natalia's cigarette. He goes outside. And we see they've coupled up and they're dancing, blah blah blah. You can imagine what's going to happen is going to happen. Okay, Josh goes outside and then we meet the kid gang. Now these are some characters I actually liked in this film. They're nasty little children. And Josh says no to what they want, to their demands, and they get more and more aggressive in tone. Not physicality yet, but in tone. And then the Dutch surgeon arrives and he distracts them with pennies. I don't think he throws candies, but he throws pennies and they scamper. Yeah. All right. And Josh feels guilty about what happened in the train. Yes, because I don't know if I wrote that down.
Because he put the Dutch guy put his hand on Josh's thigh and Josh instantly was like, what the fuck, dude, get out. Like
and a really crazy reaction instantly. Which is important to note because Josh makes his apology. He buys the surgeon a drink and then he puts his knee on his hand to say, are you okay, you cool? I thought that was an interesting moment. What do you think? Well, did you read anything into that? Any repressed sexuality? Because the horror queers did mention it.
Like it absolutely can be read that way. Like because what the Dutch guys they're saying, it's pretty obvious that like is gay himself
or
like,
open to anything.
He said that he like he decided to like he made the choice to instead have a family.
This is their conversation at the bar. Yes.
And
the apology drink.
And so I was like, oh, okay. So as in like he had to
Mm-hmm.
actively make a choice to,
Mm-hmm.
start a
Mm-hmm.
family. And, he's like, it's, it was worth it because now I have my daughter kind of thing. And then like, yeah, Josh is there sort of like, you know, being sort of like, comforting and like essentially just still continuing to apologize. And then it kind of cuts down and he's like seemingly subconsciously put his hand on the guy's like knee.
Mm-hmm.
And then he
Yeah,
kind of like
reaction. It was
realizes, he
instinctual. Yeah, yeah,
realizes
yeah.
that, he
Mm.
realizes that that's what he's done. And then he kind of like pulls back. He's like, oh no, kind of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
it kind of feels as though like, it's like, oh, it's okay. Like, I know what it's like. I've been there kind of thing,
Mm.
like, well, this is how
Mm.
it was for me. And, you need to decide what the best choice is for you and all that kind of stuff. So there's something going on there.
There's something going on there.
Yeah.
There's definitely a queer reading. It does apply. Sorry, give me a sip. Okay, they're having the drink. The friends are continuing to be homophobic. Josh is kind of in love with Paxton as well. That's why he does what
Yeah.
Paxton says at the end of the
Yeah.
day as
Yeah,
well.
pretty
There's
much.
definitely that.
Yeah.
Okay. Surgeon has the bloodhound tattoo. That's the first time we see the
Yes.
bloodhound tattoo.
Yes.
Yes, and it's revealed like what is it from Harry Potter, the Death Eater mark?
Oh yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
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 it
yeah.
is.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But back to the hostel for sex, because of course.
Mm.
All right,
Yeah.
and they've coupled up. They're having
That's
a
what
sex.
they were there for.
Ollie is off with the receptionist because he
Yes.
is the king of swing and he was swing dancing with her at
Yes.
the so at least he's consistent.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's like, see, I
Yeah.
told you, I'm
Ollie
the
is
king of
actually
swing.
consistent. Yeah. All right. And then we get visual cues of conspiracy shared between the look of the girls. Yes,
Yeah.
visual cues. All right. Next morning, Ollie has checked out and Paxton thinks everything is gay. Like, I'm not sure what exactly that note pertains to, but he wakes up and just says gay a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Asian girls say Ollie. Yeah, okay. No, Natalia and Svetlana drive off. They're off to do stuff for the day. Yes, the boys wish
Yeah.
them goodbye. And then we get her name is Kana. Yeah, one of the Asian
Yeah.
girls that we
Yeah.
met in the foyer. She rushes up and shows her the flip phone. They were flip phones then, 2005.
Yes.
And Ollie has gone off with her friend. Yes, sayonara.
Yeah. There's a photo of Ollie and Kana's friend.
Yes.
And like it's like when you know exactly what it is that's happened to them, it's so obviously like here's
Way
a
obvious.
photo
Yeah.
of their like unconscious propped up bodies that's been like
Mhm.
poorly comped in with a background and then some text in like hiragana underneath that because it was sent to Kana's phone from Kana's friend supposedly, and it's saying like we go like saying that they've left. But like looking at it, it's like, how do you even think that that's like legit?
Yeah. Hey,
It's
they're not
so
the
obviously
smartest
not.
chaps. Not the smartest chaps. Yeah. Paxton tells Josh about dream of a drowning girl.
No, it
Did you
was a
get?
thing that actually happened. It was a thing that happened to him when he was a kid. And this like gives like context as information as to why later on he goes back when he could have gotten out safe, but instead he goes back. This is
Okay,
why.
thank you.
So he's
Yeah,
telling
okay.
Josh about when he was a kid, he saw a little girl drown. So
Yeah.
they're at a pool and there was this little girl who was like struggling and he was like, oh yeah, and she like made eye contact with me, which was really fucked. And like I went to get the lifeguard because like he's like 8 at the time when this happens, like he can't do anything himself really. And so he goes to get the lifeguard. The lifeguard is too busy chatting with her boyfriend and can't see anything that's going on. So she thinks that he's just making stuff up. Go away, little kid. And then he hears like, this, the mother of this girl, just start like screaming in agony because her daughter has drowned. And Paxton's there saying like, oh, that's something that like fucked me up for ages. Like I had nightmares about it for years. Like I just kept on thinking like, if only, I should have done something to help her. I could have saved her, that kind of thing.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that because I was unsure why the hell he was talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also his choice to go back at the end. So thank you.
Yeah.
All right. The kid gang appears again and they are demanding bubble gum. And yes, and Josh says, yeah, just give it to them, give it to them. They're dangerous. But then Josh and Paxton think they see Ollie because they see a chap walking off in the distance wearing Ollie's orange jacket.
Yeah.
And they chase him to the Torture Museum. And look, Josh, you got the museum.
I want to go to this museum. It looks so cool.
How good is that?
Even the little ticketing system.
Mini guillotine for the tick
They
stubs.
chop the tickets. Oh my God. I want to go to that.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the evil people have bad teeth and are ugly. It's just a note I wrote here. Very, like, oh yeah.
Just typical depicting foreigners. The other is the villain.
Yeah. Slovakia was not happy about this movie, by the way, because it damaged tourism.
Yeah.
Seriously damaged tourism.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I see why he made a movie about this, though, because it was something that was discussed. Like, it's the whole Wolf Creek and the Outback in Australia thing as well, but in Europe, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And because because of the time period they came out in, is very much just about like how other countries perceive America, and then also how Americans perceive foreigners.
Yes,
and,
absolutely.
Because this is like almost immediately in the aftermath of 9/11. So
yeah,
everything that's going on in America there in terms of how they feel about foreigners and how the world at large feels about America and everything that America likes to get up to, and stereotypes about how Americans compose themselves when overseas. That's basically the general vibe of the movie. It's just about that, and then exploitation. In the same way that they are there looking at, at the women in the windows in Amsterdam and, all the kinds of comments and all that kind of stuff that they're making and paying money to go into a room and doing whatever they want to the person in that room. The same thing happens to them.
With Moly Moly Mole, when he said you can just go over there and take the girls.
And the same thing ends up happening to
That's
them,
what
but
we
in
do.
a more extreme way.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll save the question to the end because we haven't revealed what the baddies are exactly up to just yet. But I want to discuss, is this movie xenophobic or not at the end? We'll save it to the end. I don't think Eli Roth is homophobic. I just think he was a bit blatant in the way, and also he's blatant in the way he showed things. He's not subtle. He's not a subtle director at all. All right.
And like just from stuff that I've seen from like interviews and all that kind of stuff with him, just the way that he talks and all that, he just feels like he's just a bit of a frat guy.
Oh yeah,
vibes from him anyway. So it's like, that's just him.
Yeah. It'd be a nicer chat.
Like
you could have a conversation, but you get a similar vibe as like Paxton and Josh from these guys. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Okay. So the guy is not Ollie. It's not Ollie's jacket. And Paxton asks him about the jacket. Where did you get it? And he basically says, "Fuck off. This is my jacket." In a very scary, ugly teeth fashion. Okay. Paxton gets text from Ollie. "I go home." His decapitated head.
It's another one that's clearly like a propped up body.
His face is like, like, I go home. Yeah.
Oh God.
Okay, we see Holly's head in torture chamber and customer, one of the torturers, walking towards the other Asian girl who was in the photo. Yes, so that's what's happened to both of them. They have not gone home. All right, they've gone to the art show. More on that soon. Foot to toenail edit. Yes,
I loved that.
Yes,
because like it's even the same color nail polish as well, and like just as like that is going to cut off the toe, it cuts to someone using nail clippers to trim their toenails.
It's Kana, her friend.
So good.
Her friend. Yeah. Really well done. I'm actually going to take a moment here and I'm just going to bring up the edited by George Folsey Jr. Shout out. Good job. Okay. All right. Okay. Paxton convinces Josh to spend one last fun night with the girls because he just wants to fuck off and go home.
Yeah.
Josh is not having any with it.
Yeah,
It's
they
very
had arranged. Yeah, they had arranged with Kana that in the morning,
to go
the
to the
three of
train
them were going to
station.
head off
Yeah.
to the train station together.
Yep. Yep.
So she's going to be waiting for them to,
Yes.
So
But Paxton convinces them to spend one last night with Natalia and
yeah.
Svetlana. Get it all out before the serious work begins and fuck Ollie as well. We don't Ollie,
Yeah.
he's
yeah,
got a
yeah,
daughter.
yeah. Because they're like, we
Yeah.
don't even really know him. So,
Yeah. Which is all kind of reasonable at this time for what they're doing, the people they are, yeah? All right, Natalia gets Josh drunk. Well, Svetlana gets Natalia gets Josh drunk, Svetlana gets Paxton drunk. At this point, it's very intentional. Josh hallucinates Ollie in the bar and decides it's time to head home. He's back at the hostel, obviously drugged. He's helped back into bed by the receptionist, I forget her name, and a black-clad gentleman, older, dirty looking, yeah? Gentleman, again, bad teeth. Girl and black-clad gentleman smile knowingly as Paxton goes to find the toilet. This is back at the bar. Josh is helped back into the bed, and Paxton is back at the bar. Goes to find the toilet, but gets locked in a storeroom. Okay, Josh wakes up in a torture chamber, seen through a mask eye hole, one eye hole, yeah? The unknown torturer enters at this stage. He chooses the drill at first and drills Josh's legs. And then he sits down. It's our Dutch surgeon, Dorian. He's back. Yes, they can finally be together, these two, and see if there really is something between them. All right, Josh says he wants to go home, so the surgeon slices both of his Achilles heels and undoes their handcuffs and opens the front door. You can go home now. So Josh goes to painfully slide because he ain't fucking walking out of the room, but the surgeon stops him, and you can see the surgeon coming. It wasn't. You see these moments of anyway. Okay, so Josh offers him money, and we'll mention the shot. He holds up his head in the mirror, and you can see the surgeon in the mirror as well. Yeah, and declares that I am paying them. More of the conspiracy.
I'm paying them to do so I can do this.
Who is them? We're going to find out very soon. Paxton is woken up in a storeroom in the cold light of day. Just chill out, bro. Relax. He does not know that he's already checked out. He also does not know that he's already checked out because he discovers this when he goes back to the hostel. Khan has also left. Paxton discovers that he has new roommates that
because he goes he ends up getting checked into the same room that he had booked. Goes up in there. And it plays out exactly the same as it was when they first arrived.
Blonde, brunette.
In terms of them first catching sight of these topless young women in the mirror, and they come around as they're putting on their shirt and be like, oh no, it's okay.
Slowly.
We're just going down to the spa. You should join us. Exactly the same. And you can tell that he's picked up on it. He isn't oblivious to that. He has picked up on that.
Yes, he has. Yes. So the conspiracy is certainly being revealed at this point. Paxton isn't completely dense. Okay. Paxton calls Josh on the phone. Svetlana gets in the taxi and drives off as Paxton calls and runs after her. Now, Paxton discovers that Ollie's pic with the Asian girl was taken in the village because there's a goddamn chimney right behind. And then he almost strangles one of the kids because the whole gang tries to steal his phone. He goes, what the fuck am I doing? And they're doing the whole anyone is capable of extreme violence, horrible acts. It's just a little touch of that. Okay. But certainly not the arc, beautifully crafted arc that The Hills Have Eyes have. No, it must be said. Okay. Paxton convinced by police that Josh's disappearance is not uncommon. He mitigates him, calms him down. The conspiracy deepens. It suggests that the cops are also in on this. Paxton thinks he sees Natalia. And he finds both Natalia and Svetlana and also the black-clad gentleman who was in the bar with the receptionist in a shoddy pub. Yeah, this is these are older clientele and they look war-torn and bomb-struck. And yeah, it's very, very Eastern European looking. Their postcard has faded in this pub. All right. Natalia says Josh has left to be with Ollie. Paxton demands to know where his friends are. The whole pub stops and turns around and looks at him. Subtle. Natalia says that Paxton's friends are at an art show. Okay, Paxton demands that they take him. Natalia complies. Svetlana says she's seen the show before. I actually didn't mind that moment. And also they're without makeup in this bar as well. You know, they're on their day off. They're on their
exactly.
Day off. All right. Okay. They're in the car going to the art show. Yeah. Paxton, Svetlana, and the black-clad gentleman. She eats. I liked this little moment. She eats one of some of the bubble gum, and she says, "Too bad for you, because gelatin." Yeah. And it's a vegan. Yeah. The art show is in a war-ravaged building, and then we have now. The director of Audition, Itchy the Killer, and over 100 other films and TV shows, Takeshi Miike makes a cameo because Eli Roth wants to fuck this guy. I've watched an interview, Dorian, with both of them. And Eli Roth is basically down on his knees on the ground, just looking up.
Oh God, I can picture that. Like that so ridiculous. Checks out from like the vibes I get from Eli Roth.
And if you don't know, Audition is certainly Itchy the Killer. It's one of the most gruesome, entertaining films.
And then in in Hostel Part 2, Ruggero Deodato is in that, and he's you would know him for Cannibal Holocaust, and his character in that is the guy who's the cannibal. So
he's sitting down at a dinner table, knife and fork.
Also, Edwidge Fenech, who's she's in a lot of Giallo. And so she's the art teacher at the beginning in the second Hostel movie.
Okay. Oh, okay, cool. But I actually like this moment because I'm a big fan of Miike, and I thought he did well. In there, you spend all your money. You will spend all.
It's very dangerous in there. You know, you can easily spend all your money.
All right. Okay. For Paxton, the art show is free. He goes to offer to pay. For you, it is free. This isn't fucking suspicious. Red flags, goddamn, everywhere. Natalia laughs. Why so serious, Mr. American? Building looks great. Yes, it did. All right. Okay. So, all right. Now, the torture chambers, I like during this section because he walks down and we get tracking shots. So they presented as little performance art pieces. This was quite artful, quite graceful.
It's intentionally done in a way to mirror when they're at the brothel in Amsterdam. In the way that they're sort of moving down and seeing that. Like that was an intentional choice to do it like that.
Cool. All right. Now Josh sees the Dutch surgeon who always wanted to be a surgeon. That's also why he also
but he couldn't because his hands were shaky. Shaky hands.
So he's living out his dream here. It's wonderful. He's living out his dream on Josh, an open-chested.
He's going to town on his body.
On his body, yeah. Okay, now, yes, well, so Paxton gets the full picture of actually what is happening, and is abducted by goons after being called my bitch by Natalia, which was great.
Natalia's there saying, like they paid me a lot of money for you, so that makes you my bitch.
Yeah, that was great. Paxton gets his own cell. Door slams to black. Now this is another mirroring as from the credit sequence here. Paxton is struggling in the pitch dark. Horror movies need to do this more. They also did this in Beaten to Death as well. Yeah. I think it's really good, really great approach. Paxton sleeps and is awoken by Goon and a torturer, a customer. I can call them customers safely now.
Yeah.
Basically, they're really, really rich people, billionaires towards trillionaires, who come to this part of Europe to basically play out all of their vile, malicious, sadistic fantasies on witting travelers.
And the second movie goes into it a little bit more and fleshes it out a bit more. But in the first one, you don't have all that much info to go off of, which makes it even more mysterious.
Yes. And then the third one, they're on stage, if I remember right.
They're in Vegas. They're in Vegas where it happens, which, like, I can understand, like, the cruelty and entertainment and capitalism aspect of it. Like, yes, absolutely, Vegas, it works. But, like, I feel that a Hostel movie needs to take place in a foreign country. Like, that's part of the thing
called
of
Hostel.
it.
Yeah. I know there's a pun on the name, Eli, but no. Oh, and also there was a neon sign for about the first 15 to 20 minutes of this movie that says Hostel as well. Okay, it's like, calm down. All right. Okay. He's demanded to speak to prove that he is American so that the customer is satisfied. They also check the passport to confirm. Customer plays with scissors. Yes, big scissors.
Yeah, he's trying to decide what he's going to use on Paxton.
Yeah, he is. And I also love scissors being used in a threatening way in horror films. Yes, Inside being a great example there, Dorian.
Inside is the best version of it.
It really is. But he snips a locket of his hair and puts it in a plastic bag. Yes, normal. All right. Then he gets a metal claw and he claws at Paxton's legs.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, stop me if you have anything to call out, because I've got a whole bunch of a sequence of actions here, okay? Because things are ramping up. We're into the third act, Paxton speaks German to plead for the customer to stop. Wasn't convinced. Didn't like that moment. I didn't think it worked.
Like, so obviously,
well, the
like
twist
this,
of it.
So this guy,
I'll give you that.
Yeah. So, the thing is that because, like, I assume that this client, this customer, he doesn't really speak English.
No, he doesn't.
And
no,
so,
not at all.
And so him there, he has someone that he is not able to communicate with. But then the moment this person is able to talk to him and communicate to him, that barrier is broken down and he finds it difficult to actually follow through with what it is that he wants to do, because he's now able to relate on a level that, because there's no language barrier. And so that's why he sort of hesitates and all that. And then he goes out and comes back and they put a ball gag in Paxton's mouth so he can't talk. So then he can continue what he wants to do.
Goon has the ball bag, and that's a nice way to put it, actually. If there is communication language of any kind, that's not what he paid for. It's not what he paid for, and then he puts a gun to his head to basically tell him not to do that fucking again. But he doesn't shoot him, no, because he's got something much better than a fucking gun, a chainsaw. Who doesn't love a chainsaw? And Paxton's reaction to this is to throw up in his own mouth with the ball gag in.
And obviously because he's got the ball gag in, he's gonna choke and
he's gonna fucking choke and it's spitting out the sides.
You've paid so much money to torture and ultimately kill this American. You're not going to allow them to just choke on their own vomit and be like, well, that's that. You're not going to do that. So he takes the ball gag out, and then so more vomit just gets everywhere. So that's happening. It's just covered in vomit all over the floor. Then, all right, time to go back to this chainsaw.
Truly disgusting, but job to do. And Paxton is also trying to get his handcuffs off.
His hands are bound behind his back.
But the customer unwillingly helps because he chops off to his finger with his fingers and
when he goes to pick up the chainsaw. He goes to pick up the chainsaw and it accidentally slices half part of Paxton's hand off. So basically, like his pinky and his ring finger have been cut off. He's lost those fingers, but also his hands are free enough now, so will be able to get out.
Yes.
But then this man he then makes his way. He just does run up. He's doing a run up with this chainsaw, running at Paxton, cartoon style, like slipping on a banana peel.
A banana
slips
peel,
on
yeah.
the blood and the fingers and falls down. And very Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that chainsaw lands on
true.
his leg.
Yeah. I
And
didn't spot that. But
it
you're
isn't
right.
just a little one like what happens to Leatherface. His leg is pretty much just completely severed. And in that confusion, Paxton's able to escape.
Yes. Frees himself from the chair.
Mm.
And then Paxton shoots him in the head.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Quick and easy.
This was
very American.
Very American. This amused me, this next moment, this next beat. We've got one of the goons watching some sort of 70s soft porn on a laptop.
Well, no, apparently it's a porn parody of Cabin Fever. Apparently.
I didn't know that. It's
because I rewatched Dead Meat's Kill Count for Hostel, and that's what James said it was.
That is fucking hilarious.
They do all this research on them. So
I also liked that he walked away and left it playing because do I care if someone knows that I'm watching this? Look where I am.
Yeah, look at all this other shit that's going on. This is nothing.
All right. He's hailed by Paxton in German. Yeah, that was clever.
Yeah.
And then shot once he enters the cell. Again, boom, done. American style. Paxton escapes with fingers. Yes, because he wants to hold on to these fingers. Absolutely. Dressed as a customer. Now goons arrive and he hides in a cupboard. In the hallway. In the cupboard, he discovers a whole bunch of cadavers. Yeah. One main one. And then the butcher enters. I called this character the butcher.
Yeah.
The one who deals with the scraps. Now, Paxton hides on the trolley of cadavers and is wheeled away by the butcher into the butcher's own workspace. Yeah, and it's just basically chopping, grinding, mulching, etc. Ollie
disposing of the bodies.
Yes. Now Ollie stares back at the corpse of Josh because Josh is on the chopping tables, looking right down at him.
Yeah. And Josh's mouth is his mouth is sewn shut.
Yeah, we see a slit throat as well. It is quite a confronting
but
moment.
Like props to Paxton for like not reacting upon seeing because in a lot of other movies that character would make some kind of noise or do something like surprise at seeing that and shock and horror at seeing that.
Yeah.
That would give them away, but he didn't.
Yeah. He's doing well as an inverted final girl, if you will. I think. Yeah.
I found that in terms of typical tropes for like a final girl kind of character in slashers, Josh was a little bit more of that kind of character than Paxton. In terms of like, he's not really as willing to go along with the sexcapades.
Yeah,
he's still moping about this relationship that he's left, and he doesn't like smoking, and kind of in comparison to Paxton.
Yeah. Paxton is the bad girl. Yeah. Who turns good. We'll discuss that though. Yeah. All right. Josh, just trying to find the corpse of Josh. Paxton tries to reach for his fingers. That's right, because they're on the ground at this point. Yeah. But the butcher grabs them first. And then Ollie gets away, then comes back to knock out Butcher as he's feeding flesh into the fire. Didn't like that moment, but at this point, whatever, basically. Paxton escapes in a lift. He evades the goons. Okay, now Paxton, he escapes into some sort of living quarters, it looks like, for one of the workers there, because there's a kitchen table as well, and blah, blah, blah. But he sees the police, important bit, he sees the police talking to the goons through the window. The conspiracy is confirmed. Yes, well, the wide conspiracy, Paxton puts on a rich man's suit as a disguise, including his stupid gloves.
Yeah, well, so then they can't tell that he's like got his fingers cut off.
If he didn't hold the glove up to his chest to see the two wobbly fingers the whole time. Yep. Okay. So Goon notices that the torture chamber is empty. Yeah, the chainsaw's been running for a bit too long. Yeah. All right. Paxton meets the American elite hunter. Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
This
This is where you
hatred
get a
of
lot
America.
more. Yeah. This is where you get a lot more like info for it. So Paxton finds a business card that
Yes.
has the Bloodhound little logo on it.
Elite hunting.
And it says
is on the
elite
card.
hunting
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
yeah.
on the other side, there's, a couple of, I can't remember what the other ones were, but there was 3 different nationalities. One of them was American, and they all had
German.
different price points.
Yeah, Euro, American, and something else. Yeah, I forget. Yeah.
Yeah. But American was the most expensive one. High price point for that. And then he bumps into someone who is he's a customer, and he's an American, and he's there chatting with Paxton, assuming that Paxton is a fellow customer and trying to, get out of him. Oh, what was it like? How did you do it? I'm trying to decide if I want to, what method I want to go with. Do I want to make it quick, or do I want to drag it out, kind of thing? And and then Paxton's like, oh, just make it quick. He's like, yeah. No, fuck that. I'm not, throw it out.
Paxton
this gun? No, that's way too American. I'm not going with that. I'm doing it old school.
Paxton is also very demure, shocked. You know what I mean? It's not the Paxton from before with this. And I will shout out this American client, this American epitome. It is Rich Hoffman. He's from Suits. He's the only person with any kind of real credits in this movie at this point. Yeah, just to shout that out. And I will shout out Jan Vlasak. Again, as close as I'm going to get. He's the Dutch businessman, because he is he's a major supporting role in this, I would say. I thought he was a bit corny. I thought I always wanted to be a surgeon. It was a little bit too camped up, a little bit too hammer horror, but the movie that you're in, sir, it's fine. It's absolutely all right. And the American also, as you were saying, he wants to know how it was. Is it a rush, that sort of thing? Should I use the gun, make it quick, make it slow? And he's, no, fuck that. I'm going American old school. Yeah, motherfucker. And it just goes off into the distance shouting about how great he is. Yeah. Ooh. Now, Paxton goes to escape in a rich car, but hears girls screaming and goes back to hell. Okay. Now, so our American is drilling out Kana's eyeball.
No, he's got a blowtorch. It's a blowtorch.
Oh, is it a blowtorch? I just thought it was sorry. Blowtorch,
no,
sure.
It's a blowtorch.
Yeah. Okay, so it's blown out. Goddamn eye.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why it's all gooey, because it's essentially just being boiled.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, thank you.
That's why her face is like it's all burned. Yeah.
Paxton shoots him in the head straight away. Again. Now he cuts off her hanging eyeball because there is the burn mark.
Most iconic moment. K&B effects. Thank you for giving us this. So the side of her face is all burnt up, and to the point she doesn't even really have like eyelids or anything like that. And just dangling is her eyeball. It's just dangling out there. Like from, the little like stem and all that kind of stuff. And she's having a freak out, and Paxton's like, I'm trying to help you, like, I'm sorry. I don't want to have to do this, but like, I got to.
What the fuck do I do?
He gets some scissors. And
was it scissors or a scalpel? No, it's scissors,
They're scissors.
Yeah.
And he cuts off that eyeball through like the little like stalk that's connecting it to her head. And that falls down. And then a decent amount of like just yellowy, pussy liquid just spurts out from it. And it's so gross, and it's iconic. If anyone talks about any moment in the first Hostel movie, it's this scene.
Yeah, sure. They had to cut some of the eyegasm. That's what it was called on set. The eyegasm down a bit because they would have upped the rating. Do we know what the rating was on this?
I'm not sure.
Let me look that up now, because God, what I mean, like I'm assuming they had to cut it so it didn't become an NC-17.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Because like it's not an X. It's not an X film.
Yeah. Hostel 2, the most iconic scene would be the Lady Bathory kind of
Oh
bloodbath
yeah. Oh yeah.
scene.
That's a good scene. That's
Um,
a great kill.
yeah,
Yeah.
and apparently, so that movie was banned in New Zealand for a period of time, and because of that scene
Pussies.
primarily. And so when it was actually released, that scene was cut out from it in order for it to be released. And like that's the iconic scene in that movie.
Yeah. Hey. R18. So they would have bumped it up to
Mm,
an NC-17.
yeah. Mm,
And then when films get really raunchy, not bloody, not gory,
mm,
they're children. In America, it goes straight up to X because of their
yeah.
puritanical history, pure and
Yeah.
simple. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why horror movies from America tend to have a lot of sex. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the definite historical
Mm,
reasons.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the problem is the reason why a lot of these like production companies and stuff don't want to have these super super high ratings is because that impacts how they can release it.
Yeah, absolutely. Distribution. People don't want to
Yeah,
distribute X
yeah. And
movies. No.
so yeah,
That's
that's why
porn.
they're like,
That's porn. Yeah.
yeah. And so that's why a lot of the time it's like, look, like you're gonna have to tone it down because
Mhm.
we're not gonna be able to make any money back on this thing if it's
Yes.
like that.
And it's still a business, as Eli Roth has
Mm,
himself
yeah,
said. Show business is
yeah,
still a business. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. And he is a good businessman. I will give him that. He
mm,
is a good
yeah,
businessman. All right. Okay, so the eyegasm is done. Okay, he goes to escape with Kana through the village, but is blocked by a delivery van. That delivery van drives away,
yeah,
move that truck,
yeah,
and it reveals Svetlana, Natalia,
yeah.
and Moly Mole, Alex.
Yeah,
Alex's name
Alexei.
was,
Yeah,
Alexei.
yeah. Who
Um,
was the one who told them to go to Slovakia in the first
yes,
place?
the initial
All the way
pawn
back in
set up.
Amsterdam.
Yeah. He made the first move in the chess game, absolutely. And in true American style, Paxton revs up and runs over all three of them.
Yeah.
And I was super impressed, if I may, Dorian. Somehow in these tight-ass European streets, he reverses, spins
Yeah.
around, drives the
There's
fuck over
barely, yeah,
Natalia's head.
yeah. There's
Boom,
barely
boom,
enough
boom.
room for a
Ah,
single car
yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
those
Totally
narrow
unnecessary.
alleyways.
But
Because
you get that.
those little towns and villages and stuff, they were built
Oh,
in a time where
yeah.
cars didn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Natalia goes to get up off the ground, sees the cart, nah, you're done. Which
Yeah.
because she was the main villain. She's the
Mm.
main antagonist in this.
Yeah.
So that was a
Yeah.
good moment. Yeah, that was worthy. All right, now this moment is cool as well. I was kind of enjoying it around this time. Paxton drives straight through and finishes off Natalia, but then they are stopped by the kid gang. He bribes them with gelatine, and then goons come along, and then in cars, kids stop them, and then continue to rock them in the head, throw rocks
that's
at
right.
their
Yeah,
heads.
because in the car that Paxton has stolen, when he looks over, there's this massive trash bag just filled with candy. And he's just like, he may as well have given this gang of kids
Crack,
like $1
heroin.
million.
Yeah.
And so yeah, they'll die for him in battle at this point.
And they do cave in one of the
Yeah.
goons' heads, and you
Yeah, they straight
see
up
the
kill
rock
him. Yeah.
caving their head in. And I remember around this time, interviews with Roth around 2005, and he was saying with this film, he wants to show everything. He doesn't like cutaway off-screen kills. And he says back in the day when he was around trying to become a filmmaker, he got annoyed with all of them. So he said he was never going to do it. That's why you see a lot of blatant shit in this film. Yeah. Because that's one of his approaches as a filmmaker. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Let's just say that, in my opinion. Paxton and Kana run cross country because there's a roadblock. It's a hell of a roadblock. I mean, police are dragging a family out of a car and bashing them with batons about 6 cars up.
Classic police. Good to know that it's apparently not just in.
Oh, no. The police, they're part
That's
of the
just
world.
the police's MO globally.
Yeah. At least Americans have some paperwork for people to look for them if they go missing. If you go missing over there by the police, you're gone. Yeah, you are gone.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Cross country to avoid the roadblock of police. They arrive at a train. They arrive back at the train station where they initially arrived. Now, this moment, Kana sees her reflection in a bollard. Plastic bollard,
And then realizes just how mutilated her face is.
She jumps in front of a
And
goddamn
yeah,
moving train.
yeah. It doesn't even look as though it's moving all that fast though.
No, no. I mean that
Like
that
it's pulling into the
execution.
station. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pulling into the station. She jumps in
Dorian,
front of it,
she
and there's
doesn't
this
jump. She
massive blood
flies.
spray.
She
Yeah, yeah,
flies up into the
yeah.
front of the train.
And there's this like massive spray of blood as though she jumped in front of like a bullet train or something. Not a train is somewhere in a village in Eastern Europe pulling into the station.
Yeah.
But sure,
And then
okay.
and then the other punters, you know, the other people catching the train, they all come along and look at the carnage like they're looking
Yeah.
to see if the brost is ready yet. The
Yeah, yeah.
borscht, sorry, the borscht is ready yet.
Yeah, it's just another regular day here in Slovakia,
Yeah,
apparently.
before Children, I said I was quite enjoying the film at this point. This is when I stopped enjoying it. Her killing herself. I mean, yeah, sure, go into shock. You know,
Yeah.
take some time, a bit of PTSD, absolutely.
Yeah.
Killing yourself over this.
I mean, she is Japanese, if you take Japanese culture into account.
Yeah.
And then also how on the nose this movie is in terms of culture.
There is that.
And all that kind of thing. So
there is that at the end of the day, isn't there? Yeah, it was a lot. It was a hell of a lot. Okay. Yeah, but Kana gone. And then Paxton has a very on-edge train trip. He is in the train. He's locked himself in the toilet. He's got himself a blade. He's not opening the toilet door, which is absolutely fair enough. That was totally reasonable. Yeah. Okay, now, all right, we're the denouement, however fuck you say that word. Okay, he's sitting a bit more relaxed. You actually see him breathe out a physical sigh of relief, yeah?
Yeah.
But then we hear Salad Finger's voice.
Yeah.
And he's talking
giving
about
the exact
salad.
same spiel. The exact same spiel that he gave them when they were on the train with him. And he was eating his salad with his hands.
Yep. Same train, same spiel. Okay, so both deport train and Paxton pursues, yes? I wrote his stupid glove. I think he came out of the train going like this.
That just makes me think of Scary Movie too. Yeah. The way you're doing that.
All right. Paxton locks him in a toilet. He's in a cubicle, but there's doors to the toilet which he has access to lock again. Not picking holes, doesn't matter. He slips Bloodhound card, the elite hunting card, under the door. Yeah. Dutch surgeon, oh my god, something along those lines. Yeah. Paxton jumps in. No, he grabs the fingers first, fucking chops them off. He gets that done. So there's revenge for that. Rushes into the stall and drowns him in the toilet. Well, dunks his head severely in the toilet, then holds up his throat.
Swirly. Yeah.
And then I mentioned the mirror shot. Yeah, there's the reverse of the mirror shot. He's holding up someone's head. This time, you know what I'm saying? And then slits his throat just the way he slit Josh's throat. Yes. Yep. All right. And Paxton drives away on a train looking sad. End. Finish. Credits. No, over the credits, we do get Natalia saying, I get lots of money for you, and that makes you my bitch. We get that over the credits. And that's the end of the movie. Yeah, that's the end of the movie.
They had an initial ending that
what is it? The alternate ending.
The test audience didn't like it, and the guy who plays Paxton, like, he wasn't keen on it either. But essentially, instead of him killing the Dutch man, like when that guy gets off the train, he meets up with his daughter that he was telling them about earlier. He meets up with her, and the two of them go, she has her little teddy with her, and the two of them are going into the bathroom. So he's going to the men's bathroom, she's going to the ladies' bathroom. And then it's a bit of time, and like Paxton has been watching them, and then it's a bit of time later, and the guys come out of the bathroom. He can't find his daughter. He has no idea where she is. All that he's managed to find is a teddy. And so he's gone around like, where is she? You know, kind of thing. And then he sees the train pulling away, and there's Paxton at the window. He's got his daughter and kind of like just like trying to restrain her and keep her from making any noise and all that. But like also you can tell that he hates the fact that he's doing this, just from like, you know, but yeah, and it drives off the train goes off and there's the Dutchman just having to watch it happen and just like, no, and it ends on that. That was the the ending, the initial ending for it, and the test audience hated it, so they changed it to that other one.
All right, I'll start off the discussion by saying Eli Roth, paraphrasing his words heard through other people, secondhand information, blah, blah, blah. But his intention with the character portrayals in this film of our three travelers, Josh, Paxton, Ollie, particularly Josh and Paxton, you're not meant to like them. Yeah. No. But they fall into circumstances that are far worse than their attitudes.
Yes.
And then you are meant to feel for them because the evil of the world is more evil than these three. I don't know. But the thing is, the fault with that, hold on, sorry, 1 second. The fault with that, though, is that they're pieces of goddamn shit leading up to this, including Paxton, probably maybe the worst. I don't care when he gets he chops the fingers off the guy. I don't care when he drives away the train and escapes. It was just like, oh, the movie's over. Good. Yeah. Go. What do you reckon?
Yeah. Because you've got like these characters, like that's the annoying, frustrating thing about these kinds of movies, that you have like such a intense lead in to like, it gets to the point where this is what we're here for, and they set it up in a way to make the characters unlikable. So then when it is time to watch them die, you're cheering and you're happy about it. And you're like, hell yeah, let's go. But you have to spend so long with these unlikable characters that by the time anything interesting happens, you're mentally checked out.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It isn't as though it's a case of like, yes, it's finally happened. No, it's a case of, I just want this movie to be over with. You aren't actually able to properly enjoy it.
And you can develop
also, like,
sorry, go.
And then this movie, and then overall the trilogy as a whole, is very much about that kind of like glorifying violence and spectatorship and exploitation and all that kind of stuff. And so this concept of making the audience obviously not an active participant in the torture that's happening, but you are participating in a way because you are there. And if you've bought this movie or you bought the ticket, you have paid money to sit down and watch people get brutally tortured and killed. And like, that's, and so there's that. But like, if you've sort of lost the audience, because
a long time
the characters are just so unlikable,
a long time ago,
it doesn't have that appropriate payoff.
And there's a better way to develop character arcs. It's done through subtext and not these little I had a flashback, I had a memory. That's just as bad as expedition dump posing as character.
Like, there was literally a bit where the way that you find out that these are like, that they're like on their gap year and what it is that they're planning on doing afterwards. It's like, oh, well, when we get back and you're studying for the bar exam and I'm writing my thesis. And it's like, no, that isn't how you inform the audience as to like who these characters are and what their relationship is with each other.
And inform them about nothing interesting. Nothing interesting, nothing we can relate to with these chaps and whatsoever. So by the end of it, okay, cool. All right, next question. Mentioned it before. Is this movie xenophobic? Does it make Europe look like a bunch of ugly teeth torturers and perverts? It does, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And that absolutely is. I mean, it is playing on the fears of America post 9/11. And so, yes, it absolutely is going to turn these foreigners into caricatures.
Yes.
In the most unflattering kind of way, because that's like the point of the film. That doesn't, that's not me trying to defend anything one way or another, but that's just that is what it is.
But structurally, because when you've got the Dutch surgeon getting his fingers chopped off and he's going to do the same thing again, because people remember what they saw last, you know what I mean? The message is going to come strongest at the end of the film. And what we're shown and told at the end of the film is that all Europeans are dangerous, ugly teeth perverts. So it is xenophobic through a lack of skill. Sorry, Eli, but Gotta say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So ratings.
Mm.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
Now you can't help but compare movies, certainly when you're reviewing a whole bunch of movies in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. So I've got to be
Mm.
fair and just to the other movies that we have
Mm.
reviewed here on our iceberg journey. First of all, Scream has gone up from 3 to 3.5 there, Dorian, just so you know.
Aye.
And Friday the 13th, I gave a 2.5. I will bump that up to a 3. Now, do I give this a 2 or a 2.5? I'll give it a 2.5 because it did make its mark. It is an important film, being that it is from an important school of horror films. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was one of the major ones. It can't be denied. Eli Roth is a figure who loves horror, and he is a good guy. I just have issues with some of the ways in which he approaches filmmaking.
Yeah.
So I don't hate any of this,
Mm.
but I never want to see Hostel again. I think I'm done.
Yeah.
So I'll give it a 2.5. I'll give it a 2.5.
Yeah.
So it's flop corn, but there's nothing there for viewing to chomp on. That's fun. There's moments of fun, enjoyability in this movie. They're few and far between, though, because overall the story sucks. Yeah. Yeah. So it's got to be a 2.5. Dorian, what say you?
Yeah. I also give it a 2.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I just feel that the characters, I mean, we've basically just gone over everything that I feel about it anyway. But then also like rewatching it, the part of it that here it is, this is what I'm here for, all this violence, like this is why I've put up with this shit. And I'm like, oh, it doesn't quite hold up for me.
Nah.
In that, it's not as brutal as I remembered it being, because I've seen so much stuff since then, and so much stuff has come out since then that is so much more intense. And so doesn't even have like the torture aspect of it to sort of like prop it up. So yeah, 2.5. I do like Hostel Part 2 more. And so if you are going to watch a Hostel movie, I feel that the second one's the best one to watch. I mean, that one still has like some underdeveloped characters, but they aren't anywhere near as annoying.
They aren't anywhere as annoying. And in terms of mise en scene as well, it's a much nicer looking film as well.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. 3, don't bother. Don't bother. Yeah. Okay.
That one was, I think the third one was like a direct to DVD or something like that.
Yeah, nothing to do with Eli whatsoever.
So, to give you an idea as to what that movie's like.
Some company bought the IP rights, and now they're obligated to spew out trash, and I'm sure that stopped though.
I mean,
They had never thought, oh, there's a TV show. Yes.
I mean, I feel that if the third Hostel was like its own individual thing, then it would be fine. But because they're trying to like call it another Hostel movie, like that's to its detriment, because you're there thinking about it within that context, and they're trying to like say, hey, this is part of that universe. It just doesn't really work.
Saw's better.
Yes.
Saw stands up way.
Yes. But then also, I mean,
I mean, not perfect, but
we'll get into Saw when
we'll get into Saw. We'll get into Saw when we get there. That's on the second tier. We'll get there soon, children. Yeah.
Yes.
Dorian's excited. Now, what I was going to say there, we're going to start going to the movies again. Even Popcorn goes to the movies. Because Longlegs is coming. I will certainly be there, whoever wants to join. If not, I'll do a solo episode because I'm there on the opening night for that one. Now, I did actually, for those in Brisbane and for people who are horror fans, just give me one sec. We want to be going to New Farm Cinema. And we want to be watching Longlegs. That is coming out. One of the horror ones did I notice here. In a Violent Nature. I'd like you to speak on that in a second there, because you've seen it already there, Dorian. Dead Ringers is playing. Classic Cronenberg.
Have you seen there was a TV show TV series for Dead
No, I
Ringers.
didn't.
Rachel
Yeah,
Weisz.
Rachel
Rachel
Weisz,
Weisz
yeah.
played the twins.
How was it?
It was very different in terms of the overall storyline
Yeah,
because
because
like
what's his
you
name?
got like it's two women instead of like two men for the
Who's
Mantle
the
twins.
who's the man? Who's the man who plays twins?
Um,
His fucking name?
Jeremy Irons.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
But
females, yeah.
yeah, like she's fantastic in it.
Oh, she's good. She's a
Like,
good actor, yeah.
yeah. It's more of like a drama and then just the two of them just having that really toxic codependent relationship kind of thing.
hmm
There isn't all that
hmm
much in the way of like the
Body
horror
horror.
aspects
Okay.
in it, but like it's still worth watching because she's really great in it. And it's just a
Okay.
limited series. It's only one season.
Okay. That's cool. That's cool. I'll put it on the list. Alien Romulus will be shown at New Farm. That's in August. Strange Darling. I don't know much about it, but it's a new horror that's
Oh
come out.
yeah.
It's one of those ultra
Yeah, that's on my
saturated,
watch list.
neon
Yeah.
lit horrors that are out at the moment. Yeah. I saw the TV Glow will be showing August 29th.
Yeah.
Definitely want to be
I've been
seeing
meaning to
that
watch
one.
that one.
The
Because I mean,
Crows. I mean,
I wasn't that keen on We're All Going to the World's Fair.
I haven't seen that. I
But
want to watch it. I want to
yeah,
watch it. Yeah.
it
Slow.
wasn't for me, yeah. And it's
It's
basically
yeah.
about like being like an isolated teenager and just having like the internet as like your only companion kind of thing, and
Okay.
then just being
Okay.
a bit of a cringe teenager and filming stuff and uploading it, and it's essentially like that kind of stuff.
Is
But
it
it's very slow.
uneventful horror like that Skinamarink, whatever that thing
Yeah,
was?
yeah,
Yeah.
kinda,
Yeah, I'm with
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But I have seen a lot of really good like reviews for I Saw the TV Glow. So
Yeah, same. Scream Queen will wait for you for that one. I know you are keen on that one. Beetlejuice. I will be
mm,
seated.
yeah.
Speak No Evil, American version. That's coming there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing that one to compare it to the original.
Cool. Joker Folle à Deux.
Yeah.
That's with Lady Gaga. That will be playing there. I will be seated for that one, certainly. Even if it is a musical, I
Yeah.
trust the people involved. I trust the people involved. Sometimes I could be sold on the musical. Blah, blah, blah. That's all. Yeah. Okay. So we'll certainly be going to the horrors that are screening there. Now, a horror is currently screening there that you do want to check out. I will be watching it online soon. So, without spoiling the major kill, which is apparently one of the most
Yeah.
iconic kills in horror there,
Yes,
Dorian,
it's
or
amazing.
spoiling in general, if as much as you
Yes.
can, in a violent nature, as a slasher fan,
Okay.
what did you
Yes.
think?
I really liked
Vamp,
it.
I'm
It's
going to get water.
very,
Be right
yes.
back.
Yeah. It's very slow paced. It's essentially if you were to think of a Friday the 13th movie, but instead of spending your time with the teenagers that are going to die, you're instead just checking out what Jason's up to. So it's just walking through the woods and just overhearing what the teenagers are up to, and then just coming along and killing them. Dead Meat podcast, James and Chelsea, they were talking about it, and they compared it to, they were essentially saying like it's like these asymmetric horror games, like, you know, Dead by Daylight and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
sure.
In that when you're playing the killer kind of thing, and even you know, just finding weapons and, you know, being like alerted to where they are through sound and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So
Okay.
if you don't mind slow movies, because there's no score for it, it's all diegetic sounds,
Yeah.
the entire thing.
Okay.
It's very much a like ASMR going through a walk through the woods kind of thing. Yeah, so if you don't mind those slow films, and then you also like slashers, and so something that is sort of taking a slasher film and kind of having a different perspective on
That's
it,
what
a different
interests
take
me.
on it.
That's what interests me.
Then
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
The acting from like the teenagers, and just like the line delivery, because a lot of the time it's just stuff that you're hearing, you aren't really seeing them having these conversations. And so I think hearing it and not actually seeing it acted out makes it a little bit worse. But I was kind of like, oh, I don't really like this acting. And then I'm thinking, oh, maybe that's the point. Maybe it's supposed to be a bit
Mhm.
shit because it's supposed to be like a shitty 80s slasher.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you go
Interesting.
into it with that mentality, then you'll
Mhm.
have a fun time with it. I think a lot of people didn't realize that that's what the movie was.
Mhm.
You know, they just heard, oh, it's a slasher movie, but from the perspective
Yeah.
of the
A
killer.
lot of people are
And
pissed off.
obviously, yeah,
A
you're
lot
gonna
of
think
people are
it's
pissed.
something that's very, very different from what
Yeah.
the movie actually is.
I think that's
So,
great.
but
I
yeah.
think that's fucking great, though.
Yeah.
And shout out to Dead Meat for
Yeah.
having a cool perspective on it.
Yeah.
And as
Yeah.
gamers, I see how they brought that into it as
Yeah.
well. You know, we'll definitely be checking it out as a slasher fan. Yeah, one other thing that in terms of going to see movies, going to see Sting, shout out to Holdfast Public Relations for the tickets. Anyone else who wants to come along, please do. And yeah, because as you know, watching this, you would have watched, hopefully you have, Wormwood. We've done 1 and 2. We did Road of the Dead and Apocalypse one day after the other because we just wanted to. And Sting is by the Roche Turners, Kia and Tristan, as well, who brought us Wormwood. Yeah, so they're back and they're making even more of a name for themselves, which is great because yeah, they're dope filmmakers, definitely. So next, Dorian, on tier 2. Have we finished in Europe yet? Is my question.
Yes.
We have? Okay. Was it fucking Tusk?
No.
Oh. My man, Diesel
It's
Laser.
Saw.
Oh, are we going
No,
to Saw?
Saw.
Yeah.
And
From
then
Hostel to
Tusk, and
Saw.
then Human
Yeah,
Centipede. Get
Centipede.
in line.
Okay. All right. All right. Fucking wife of Jigsaw. Yeah, no, I'm very much looking forward to Saw. I am looking forward to Human Centipede because I love Diesel
Yes.
Laser.
Oh,
Yeah. But
yes.
Tobin Bell is nothing
Oh,
to be
God.
shirked at, though, either. Another
No, he's
fine icon of
amazing.
horror that I love. Yeah. So
Yes.
yes, finally we're at Saw. That's very cool. All right. Should we go deep on Saw? Because we are going to go deep on the others. Or do you
Yes.
want to breeze over it and then go deep when we do the whole series? The choice is yours.
We'll do a proper deep dive when we do the actual
Yeah,
series,
okay.
I reckon.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, with the trap by trap by trap. Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. Okay, so Saw's next. Go look on the internet. It's everywhere.
Yes.
Yes. Fantastic. Yeah. Okay. And Hostel. Thanks. Okay. I don't hate you, Eli. Don't get me wrong. You look after sharks. You promote the awareness of sharks. So that's all good. And he's a film historian as well. He keeps old films safe in his house. Thank you for that as well. Thank you, Children of the Popcorn, for listening to us tonight. Thank you for Dorian for joining me again. And follow us into the Dark and Bloody at Evil Popcorn Pod, as said last time. Just Google at Evil Popcorn Pod. You have a list of all of our socials, YouTube, Spotify, Podbean, where to listen and where to watch. Easy. We'll see you for Saw. Finally. Good night, children. Go to bed. Fuck off. Whoa.